Alright guys, what is going on? Welcome back to another video, and in this video we're going to be talking about how I made $5,000 trading indices on one day. So I'm actually net $13,000 for the week of September 20 to September 24th. So yeah, let me just show you guys what I was looking at and how I did that specifically. So I like trading NASDAQ 100. I traded mostly NASDAQ 100 last week. Right now it's Sunday the 26th. So on NASDAQ 100, we saw that price action, if we go to the daily chart, was actually made all-time highs right over here. We could see how there was some doji candles forming up right over here, and we could see that, with these kind of candles formations, not very strong kind of formations at all. So from there, we saw kind of a rejection. I actually called the top, and I shorted it with one of my other accounts. But with this kind of drop right over here, and then a pullback up to the 21 EMA, back to the 8, and then another drop right over there, we saw just an increase in volatility. So whenever the market drops on indices, you're going to see an increase in volatility because whether it's investors basically selling their shares on specific stocks. For example, the NASDAQ 100 is a tech sector index, so there's a lot of tech sector stocks in that index, and a lot of investors are really heavily invested, especially right now, in those tech stocks. So whenever we saw kind of a pullback right over here and then a continuation of that drop, we saw a lot of volatility increased. And with that drop, with that volatility equals opportunity. While some investors, some traders, are just basically very scared, I like whenever the market falls because it gives me opportunities for both sides, shorting and longing it. So whenever we saw this drop on 17, I believe it was the week before that, we closed. And basically we had a drop on Friday. So for me, seeing that the market closed on Friday with a drop gives me a very good, especially on the market close, because on the market close on Fridays, usually investors are kind of managing their portfolios and basically selling some stocks, selling some stuff if they're really scared about a specific stock market crash or a drop. So whenever I saw that, I thought it was a very possible scenario for a continuation of that drop. And that's exactly what we saw on Sunday night. We saw just a continuation of that drop, and then Monday morning, just literally, what a drop. I think it fell all the way down about 3.4% in one day. That's an enormous drop on indices, right? Usually it moves about 1%, maybe 1.5% or whatever. So seeing that big drop, that was insane. So I didn't trade much on Monday just because there wasn't a lot of opportunities I could be taking. There's, of course, shorting opportunities, but I wasn't able to get in those entries because basically once I missed the entry, then the move just basically continues down. So this is on the 15-minute chart, so you can see how basically price action just went past ADR and came all the way down here. So the better opportunities for me was actually on Monday night and Tuesday morning as well. So we saw just basically a big drop, and on the 8-hour chart we saw kind of a bounce off the 200 EMA. So we saw buyers basically in control, and literally from this kind of bottom right over here, we went up on the close about 1.36%. That's a big continuation up. So I didn't trade that move, unfortunately, but it would have been a very good opportunity to take a long off that. So looking at this right now, it looks very crazy, chart patterns or whatever, but just looking at this, right? So on Monday night, if we go to the 1-minute chart, so on Monday night, we basically took a short right over here, just a quick collapsing EMA off the 100 EMA. It was a little bit choppy, so I managed to get out of break even on that trade. So that was a scratch trade. So I was like, okay, maybe the direction is probably continuation toward the upside, because once we broke toward this 850, which is the 15-minute 50 EMA, I thought that there's possibly a way of a breakout for a continuation back to the downside, right? But we didn't see that. We just saw divergence forming and then basically price action bouncing back up. So later on that night, I basically traded this as a level 1 reset off our mechanical level scalping system. I took that trade, putting my stop loss at the low right over here, and just basically a beautiful kind of 8 and 21 EMA upshift right here as well. And from there, we saw that price action just basically, with that volatility increasing, I got out of 2R, but in total it gave me about 3.3 R of execution R. And then you can see as well as with the MACD, with MACD seasons and TDI as well, how that beautiful pattern was just coming in right there as well. So looking at that was a very good kind of trade right off there. And then basically on this, I didn't trade this level 2. It's just a level 2 offer mechanical level scalping system. I personally didn't trade it, but I kind of noted it down because I thought that with divergence, price action will have a little bit of trouble just trying to go up. And that was absolutely right with my analysis. We could see how price action was a little bit choppy, some divergence forming on the TDI, on the RSI, and on price action. So from there, I actually waited to go in short. So as price action collapsed here, we retest right over here, which is pretty good. I got in as a collapsing EMA, which is also a level 1 reset as well with one of our entries. So from there, price action literally collapsed 3R. I got out of 2R because that's basically what I want. I want to get 2 times my risk on each trade. I did that on this trade, and so from there it just collapsed, and then it went back up, and then just basically just chopping around. So from there, I was basically done. Like, I got 2 winners for the day. I was completely done. I wasn't looking for any more trades because I basically was just done. I was just basically hit my daily goal for that night. And so from there, price action just continued going up, whatever. And on the market open, what I did is I was looking for longing opportunities. And why I was looking for longs is because price action saw just a very kind of unambiguous move down on the more close to the market open. Then basically price action starting to come up, making higher lows. And then I basically took a long on the break of the 850 for a potential breakout toward a continuation of the upside. Now for that specific kind of trade, it didn't end up going about 2 execution R. So I got in at 1R. I locked my stop at 1R, which is just based off my trade management system on the mechanical level scalping system. So we got in there and we got stopped at break even, which for me was completely fine. And so from there, I basically looked to get into a short position right over here for collapsing EMA, putting my stop like right over here, about 2 execution R right there, and which is, it was pretty good. It was nothing too crazy, just a quick move toward the downside. Divergence formed, so I could have also taken it up to the upside, but I decided not to. And then from there, I basically shorted it again as a collapsing EMA with divergence on top. So I could have also taken it as a level 1 reset off my system, off my mechanical level scalping system. The collapsing EMA is actually a new system that's coming out to the ScalpingUniversity. So right now I'm just basically forward testing a little bit more on different scenarios, and it should be out hopefully within the next couple of weeks. So with this entry, I like that how price action was just making lower highs. You can see here how the TDI and MACD was decaying and then giving us proper TDI and MACD values. We saw that divergence off the 850 as well. So level 1 reset, it's also a collapsing EMA. Took that entry short right there here on the break of the 200 EMA. And basically all those 5 EMAs right there with price action breaking the previous low as well. And it was just a very nice trade right there. And from there, basically price action went up to 2R and I got out of 2R. So the thing that I like about the collapsing EMA system is that it gives me that, especially whenever the markets are falling, it gives me that quick execution R. Literally within a couple of 1 or 2 minutes, even a couple of seconds, I can meet my RR and just basically be done on that trade. And so from there, you can see how it just quickly, just within 2 minutes, I got out of the trade. And then basically it continued to fall up to around 4.6 R in total, which is pretty good. And then later on, basically, we saw price action basically decaying as well. So why I was looking for possible short continuations toward the downside was based off the 15-minute. So basically, I thought that we had a very possible scenario of price action basically trying to come back down. So if we go to the 21st, right over here, we saw that price action was basically failing to move higher, right? It was just struggling to get up there. And so what I did is I drew a Fibonacci level. Now, a Fibonacci is not a tool to basically think, I'm gonna go short just because it's bouncing off of Fibonacci. That's not how I use it. I use it as a possible kind of likelihood of price action basically rejecting out that point. But I don't take my trades based off of Fibonacci. Right, I use confluences with Fibonacci's, just to see where in the market there is a possible point of a next kind of structural low or structural high. So from there, we saw how price action just basically was rejecting toward this point, toward this valued area. So from there, I saw that price action was rejected off that Fibonacci, and we made a lower high, which was just something that I really liked. So from there, as price action was making a lower high with divergence, with also breaking below the 850, making it as a level 1 reset entry, which is exactly what I took here. It basically just collapsed on the market close. It went all the way down to almost 5R, which is pretty good. But for me, I got out of 2R, which was right over here to this little zone that I marked up on the higher time frames. So for me, that was a really nice trade, right? I hit in total about, I think, more than 10 execution R in literally one day, and I was able to make $5,000 in that one day. So, it was a very nice day. It was my biggest day this year for sure. I know last year was different, but this year, since I was away for a couple of months from OSIT training, and then I came back during the slower summer months and indices, I didn't really trade that much, and there wasn't really a lot of volatility in those months because obviously on the summer months on indices, on any market, it's usually a little bit slower because investors and traders are basically out just having summer vacation or whatever, and they're not really focused on the charts a lot. Same with investors and big banks. So yeah, you can see kind of all my entries that I took on Tuesday, on Monday night and Tuesday. It was a really nice day, and it's just basically, and not only did I see good results, but we also had people from our Discord chat basically coming in and seeing almost the exact same results as well. So we had Danny here making over $9,000, which is literally insane, and with a 90% win rate. That actually beats my win rate for sure, and that probably is because he took a little bit less entries. I took about 7 entries per day. He probably took only a couple of entries, and just making sure that those entries were high probable setups. So big shout out to Danny with a 90% win rate with 9% on his account, $9,000, which is literally it's good money right there, right? It's more money than I would be working at a normal 9-to-5 job. Yeah, so on that specific day, Danny hit about $2,000 on that specific day. So, just shout out to him. That was really good results. So we also had Leo right up here hit about $3,600, which is pretty good money. So shout out to him for doing that. We had Nick as well, basically hitting $8,000 profits on that specific day, but he later came back, and I believe he hit about $13,000 in total profits, which was pretty good, which is right over here. You can see how actually $12,000 in profit. So I mean, literally, I think he definitely beat me in the day for sure, hitting $12,000 in one day. Just literally in one day, trading gold and forex and indices. So shout out to Nick because he just joined a couple of months ago. He literally passed his challenge, and now he's just killing it with a funded account with FTMO, $100,000. So just a big shout out to him because he's killing it. $12,000. I mean, it just shows you that with hard work, with consistency, anything is possible. And my system works, right? I have literally proven results. I have proven statistical results. I have people making the same results as I am, even better results right over here. So it's amazing to see my community just basically working hard, being consistent, and just seeing those awesome results every day. So usually I don't take this much trades during a day. I usually take about 2 or 3 trades a day. But today, in this specific week, it was just so volatile. The increase in volatility was really awesome. And for me, being a very conservative trader during the summer, I changed my trading style just for that specific week because, we're seeing an increase in volatility, and volatility equals opportunity. So whenever I see more opportunities, I'm basically coming in with more aggressiveness. And that actually paid me good on this specific day on the week as well. So, it just basically shows you that being consistent with a system or strategy and having statistical results and just working hard really does work. And if you really want to be profitable in these markets, don't be afraid to put in the work. Don't be afraid to be aggressive whenever the market's more volatile. You're seeing more opportunities on hand. So yeah, that's pretty much it for today's video. Let me know if you guys have any questions at all, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much, guys.